forced to drain blood from unsuspecting victims in order to keep myself alive.
Amid the squalor of prison, Senghor found salvation in sentences. From Malcolm X to Plato, reading took him to places his incarceration could not. There were also two very personal letters, one from the family of the man he murdered.
What I want you to know, other than these painful things that you have brought upon my family, is that I love you, and I forgive you.
There were times in the past when the people that you had hurt badly had forgiven you, but you still hadn't forgiven yourself.
It was one of the hardest things to do, is to forgive yourself for something as tragic as taking somebody's life. Because it's such a permanent thing.
The second letter, 10 years into his sentence, came from the son he never got to raise.
My mom told me while you're in jail, don't kill, Dad. Please. That is a sin. Jesus watches what you do. Pray to him. That was the most devastating letter I've ever received in my life. But it was also one of the most important letters, because that letter helped break through the facade of hood toughness, prison toughness, and it got straight to my heart in a real way. You know, I had to figure out a way to leave a legacy to him that humans are redeemable, and I made a commitment to do that.
Senghor started writing a journal, and eventually fiction. In 2010, he was released.
When I got that letter from my son, I began to write a journal.
Today, he's speaking out against a prison business that he says leads to recidivism, not rehabilitation.
That we would do away with the lock them up and throw away the key mentality, because it's proven it doesn't work. There has to be life skills. There has to be spiritual growth and mental stimulation in a way that speaks uniquely to the person. I'm a firm believer that our human potential to grow and to transform and turn our lives around is infinite.
He mentors kids at risk of following in his path.
I'm gonna drive down to Ann Arbor.
Okay.
But his ultimate focus is on fatherhood. He has a 4-year-old now, a life he's determined
Listen to the music. Listen to the soundtrack they add.
One day at a time, you know, waking up, living every day with purpose, like that's success to me. When I feel like I've done something meaningful for that day, whatever it is, it's a successful day.
Oh my God, successful.
Senghor is working with a group trying to cut the prison population in half by 2025. It is a controversial issue, but one that is increasingly getting bipartisan support.
That's a great piece. What was it about him that made him and gave him the power to change his life?
Well, it's his eloquence now, the way he can talk about it and reflect.
So
But in prison, it was his discovery of literature. And it was discovery of different worlds and different voices that empowered him to believe that he could change his own life and that he could take a different.
I first heard about him from Oprah, who did an interview with him.
Yeah.
Who said
Of
that
course you
meeting him
did.
was life-changing and transforming for her, and it just shows you when you hear people's story. What he said about the ability to change is infinite. Yeah, the difference he can make and is making.
Serious as
Because he's
Jesus.
very honest about everything.
Yeah.
And you can
So
ask him about
honest.
anything and he'll
Everybody's
tell you.
honest.
Yeah.
And he says he's not completely fixed yet and never will be.
Yeah.
But as he
Oh,
said
he's
in
not?
there, he judges each day now by how much he did in that day. And if he did something positive, it's a
Are
good
you
and he has the
fascinated,
credibility and the
Laura?
eloquence. Yeah.
Whatever your name is.
He's quite a guy. Thank you.
Great interview.
Thank you. When we come back, she went from being a tomboy, if you can believe this, to one of the world's, because look at this girl now, to one of the world's top supermodels. Yeah,
Fucking
Lily
porn.
Aldridge, we're talking about you. She's in our Toyota Green Room. We'll look at tomorrow's